Hey guys, just a quick thing before we start this video. This one went a little longer than I wanted it to, but there's a lot of great information in there, and I want to tell you about this Volvo, but I also want to tell you what Volvo didn't tell you. So please watch this video till the end, and then give me your thoughts in the comments. All right, here we go. Let's jump into today's video. Well, good morning. Trucker Todd here, and time for a recorded video. All right, folks, recently Volvo Trucks, I should say, released a video showing the 2024 VNL series trucks. And almost immediately after that video came out, people started emailing me, hey Todd, have you seen the video? I've been real busy, a lot going on, have not seen the video. And everybody wanted my take on it. And now my live shows, which are Tuesdays and Thursdays at 5 p.m. Central usually, people are starting to ask me there, hey Todd, have you seen the new Volvo VNL series that's come out? So I finally took the time to watch the video, and I wanted to give you my take on it. And I think my take's going to be a little bit different than some of the other takes you might see from other YouTubers on YouTube. So we're going to do this video a little bit differently. It's been a while since we've done one of these. I'm going to put a link both in the description, and I'm going to try to pin it in the top of the comments too, where you guys can go check this video out. The easiest way to do it would be to pause my video during the intro music and go over and check that video out, and then come back and compare my thoughts and observations with your own thoughts and observations, and then let me know in the comments below what you think. Of course, if you don't want to do that, you can just watch my video and kind of go from there. But before you do that, give me a thumbs up, share this video on your social media platforms, and make sure that you're subscribed and have clicked the bell and selected all, so that you receive a notification when future videos come out. Now, this video is a members only video being released on Monday, but we'll release it to the general public on Thursday. So thank you for being a member. And if you want more information on that, there will be a little join button below the video where you can get more exclusive content or access to early content like this video. All right, folks, let's fire up the music you hadn't heard in a long time, and let's jump into my opinion of the 2024 Volvo VNL truck series. Here we go.
And this is why I do this, why I'm out here, why I keep that hammer down, flying by these road signs with home on my mind, with these wheels turning round, for my family and for my kids, for this life I wanna live. And this is why I do.
Alrighty, we're back. Now, in videos like this, a lot of times what they say is interesting, but what they don't say is more interesting. And so I'm going to kind of go through this video and tell you the things that kind of stuck out to me. The first thing that stuck out to me, and I'm going to get my pen out so that I can kind of check off. I took some notes, which is rare for me, but I wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything. It was like a 25-minute video. All right, they built a whole new plant in Dublin, Virginia, next to their other one. 400 square feet about 2 years ago, specifically to build this truck. They're going to be able to almost double capacity, so they're going to be able to make almost twice as many trucks as they currently are. Now, one thing that jumped out to me right away is this truck was designed for millennials, in my opinion, and you'll see why throughout this video. It was also designed by engineers and artists. I didn't see a lot of truck driver input mentioned in this. I didn't see any truck driver input mentioned in this video. I'm sure they did do surveys and polls and stuff, but evidently they didn't feel it was important enough to mention it. So the design itself, you know, they went on about the design and all of this To me, it looked like a Volvo that they put different headlights on, sleeker headlights. Now, they specifically said that this truck was going to be safe, high-tech, and something you could be proud of. And we'll see. The jury's still out on that. One thing I want to point out when we go through these features and things that they mentioned in their video is, you know, they're showing the top-of-the-line truck. They're probably not showing the truck you're going to get if your company selects to buy these Volvos. And I'll give you some examples of optional features. Now, if you go to the Volvo dealer and buy one yourself, then perhaps that you could get all these features. But there was no mention of what this a truck as equipped is, like what they call them. What a truck as equipped in the video would cost. I'm guessing it's going to be a pretty penny. And they talk a lot about their visual strategy, which honestly I didn't see much difference between the current Volvo and the new one. The front is a little more stubby, kind of more Mac-like, but I mean, I'm not saying it's an ugly truck, and this video is not a criticism video. Somebody had asked me recently, Todd, if you didn't have a Freightliner, what kind of truck would you like to have? And I said, probably a Volvo. And I still feel that way. I like Volvos, but it really bothers me. The one word I did not hear them mention in this video or elaborate on in this video, and I can't wait to tell you about that. Of course, they made a big deal about their new headlights, and we'll see how those perform when this truck's out in the wild. They spent a lot of time in this video driving it pretty fast in an open desert with nothing around, kind of like they were in the sand flats doing speed testing. But I just want to ask you guys, as drivers, how much of your time when you're delivering loads do you spend out in the desert with no vehicles around you, you know, driving fast through the desert with no trailer? Again, I think they were doing that for visual aesthetics, and to some people that'll be a big deal. They did mention, and I kind of laughed when I heard this, they believe it's going to increase fuel efficiency by 10%. And the reason I laughed is every time any truck manufacturer comes out with a new body style, they always say it can increase fuel economy up to 10%. And I mean, Kenworth said it when their new trucks came out. Freightliner said it when they redesigned theirs. 10% seems to be the magic number. And the key words in that are up to. Now, keep in mind, when they're doing fuel efficiency testing, when they're doing all this testing, it's in what's called a controlled environment. It's not real world testing like you and I would do when we're out picking up and delivering loads with this truck. So another thing that initially sounds pretty cool, the millennials will love it, was they are going to have push button start available as an option. Again, when your company gets these trucks, it may or may not have that. Push button start is cool, but imagine if you're at a mega carrier, and we all know what mega carriers do. They code these trucks to where there's just a few different key combinations. So I could see circumstances where, you know, you're in Southern California, your truck is easier to steal with push button start, especially if you work for a mega carrier and they use just, you know, 4 or 5 different code combinations for all these key starts. So while it's cool if you're an owner operator, buying one individually from a dealership might be a cool feature to have, but even then you wonder how long it'll be before thieves figure out a way to quickly steal these trucks. And I guess they could do the same with the key, but it's just, my mind goes to places like this. Now, one thing they do mention about this truck is they designed it because they wanted you to feel in control. They want you to feel like you're in control when you're behind the wheel. So to help you feel in control, they introduced features like pedestrian detection and adaptive cruise, both of which will slam on the brakes where you're not in control. Pedestrian detection, if it thinks that something is running out in front of you, could be a piece of paper blowing across the weed. In West Texas, it could be a tumbleweed. it's going to apply the brakes. And those of you that have the little brick on the front of your bumper know it's going to apply the brakes pretty aggressively. And same thing with adaptive cruise. The adaptive cruise, now you're still in control, they want to point that out, but the adaptive cruise is going to slow you down. And if it misreads, like somebody's exiting off on the lane beside you or something like that, it's going to slam on the brakes. Now it's got another feature, and some of you millennials are going to love this. Some of you old timers are going to hate it. It's got lane detection and dynamic steering, which what that means is if it thinks you've departed out of your lane, it will kind of steer you back in your lane. And while that sounds like a great feature, it doesn't work so well when you're in construction and the lines are weedy-wadgy or something like that. So again, sounds great. In practicality, might not be this great. It also has a feature called eCall, and it didn't give a lot of information about eCall other than it would dial 911. Don't know if you have to initiate the 911 or if it does it automatically like OnStar if it detects a collision. But I can see a lot of accidental 911 calls either way. In the right circumstance, in the right controlled condition, it might be a great feature. We'll just have to see how it works in real world situations. Another one, now this is cool. They have an optional digital dash, kind of like the Kenworths have now, kind of like the Peterbilts offer now. An optional digital dash. It looks pretty cool. They also have the digital thing in the center like my Kenworth had. That's an option. You can run your Bluetooth and everything through it. The one on the Kenworth was outdated. Let's hope this Volvo one is more updated and a little more user-friendly. And we'll see how reliable they are. I know on the Kenworth, some people have had some problems with the digital dashes. And so a lot of this untested technology, we'll just have to see how well it does. Now, another thing they're really proud of is it has basically what's an EPU, an electric power unit, and they claim it could cool the truck up to 8 hours with batteries. Now, let's take something we all have, a cell phone. When you buy a new cell phone, they tell you, oh, you can get 2 days of battery life out of this phone. And I've always said you get half of whatever they say. So if they tell you your battery on your cell phone is going to last 2 days, then realistically you can probably get a day, maybe a little over a day out of it before you need to have it on a charger. For us as truck drivers, it's not that big deal because we can charge it while we're going down the road. Now on this deal, they say 8 hours, but if you're in West Texas, 100-degree heat, or you're out in Arizona, I would think 4 or 5 hours is max. Well, you say, well, that's still pretty good. That's 4 or 5 hours. I don't have to idle my truck. No, but you're on a 10-hour break. Let's say that everything they're saying is true. Let's say this EPU lasts the 8 hours. Just when you're getting in a good sleep back there in the sleeper, you're going to have to wake up and start your truck, or hopefully it has an auto start feature where it'll crank and charge the batteries back up. But it's also going to mean that there's extra batteries on the truck that'll have to be replaced, things like that. Some of you might remember some other truck brands that had EPUs caught fire and burnt to the ground. So we'll just have to see. This is another deal. We'll just have to wait and see how this works out for Volvo. Now, they're really proud of their new curved windshield that's going to help with fuel economy. And I don't doubt that it will help with fuel economy. I also don't doubt that it'll be very expensive. It looks like a one-piece design, and I'm sure that glass is not cheap. So hopefully the adaptive cruise will keep you from tailgating, and hopefully nobody will pass you and throw up a rock or nothing that'll cause you to have to get that windshield replaced, because I bet it's going to be $1 or $2 to replace it. Now, while it sounds like I've been critical of this truck, let me say a good thing about it. The interior does look very nice, especially the sleeper area. they've gone to a Murphy style bed like Freightliner uses, and a lot of this truck interior wise is very Freightliner like. The new Freightliner's not the one I've got. And the cabinets and everything back there, but it has a Murphy bed that folds down, which for those that don't know, a Murphy bed's a bed that goes into the wall. And when you lift up that Murphy bed, it has the little dinette underneath, almost identical to what Freightliner does. And it's a pretty nice setup. Like I said, their top of the line trim, which is all they show in these videos, is very nice. We'll just have to see if you get what you pay for, what it costs, things like that. But they also talk a lot about the interior lighting. They use LED lights, and even the fixtures that the lights in are very Freightliner like. The accent lighting and everything is very much like a current new model Freightliner, or like the Freightliner I had at Swift. So nothing wrong with it, just I noticed a lot of similarities there, and it appears that Freightliner was their inspiration when they were designing their interior. Now let's see. They also went to a stock shifter on the steering column, and it works just like the one in this Freightliner. It looks very similar to it. You can paddle shift it, hold the gears. It also controls your jakes, all that, and they're very proud of that. And so they also mention that they're still pursuing battery trucks that you would have to charge. They're still electric trucks, they're fuel cell trucks, and autonomous trucks. To me, this truck, from what I saw, is definitely a nod to autonomous trucks and the directions that they're wanting to go with the company. I do like the truck, but obviously I have some concerns, as I said in this video. And but I'm curious what you think, what your concerns are. Am I just paranoid? Are these trucks not a problem? Are they what you've been waiting for? Is it your dream truck? Volvo, I mean, some things we can't deny about Volvo. They have the airbag. They design them for safety for sure. I had a body shop manager tell me that they are the most structurally sound trucks you can buy, with the most metal in them and built for durability and things like that. I know some of you are a fan of the D13, some of you aren't. Some of you say it's a little underpowered. So the one word, but let me get to what I wanted to say. The one word I didn't hear him mention in this video, and let me bring my list back. I didn't hear him talk about reliability. So when I talk to truck drivers, I don't ever hear them say, man, I wish my truck had pedestrian detection. I'm sure glad my truck has adaptive cruise. I sure wish this truck would take control of the steering and steer me back in my lane if I'm not paying attention. I sure wish my truck would dial 911. I don't hear that. I do hear people say that they wish their truck, the DEF system was better, that the regen system was better. I know we've debated on my channel about people deleting their trucks because their after treatment system was so unreliable. And so that's what I would say about this video. Is I would have liked them to talk more about reliability instead of all the cool electronics they've packed into it. Now, the reason, and for those that don't know, as a kid, my dad was a cotton farmer. And the reason that construction workers, farmers, ranchers, a lot of times for work vehicles get plain Jane vehicles is because the less gadgets and gizmos are on the vehicle, the less stuff there is to break. And that's why I mentioned throughout this video, we're going to have to see how reliable all of this stuff is when it gets out in real world settings. This may be the greatest truck that's ever graced the earth. It may go 1,000,000 miles with no after treatment problems. All of the electronics may work flawlessly, but we won't know until you and I get it out there and test it. But anyway, I'm going to wrap this video up. I'm kind of excited to hear what you guys will say in the comments and what your thoughts are. Until next time, folks, take care and be careful out there. All right, bye-bye.